Alright, picking up where we left off last time, we're here discussing basically Iron Man Epic Collection Volume. What number is this one here? Um, if I can scroll up here. I page here, I have a save here. I know it's War Games and it collects issues 258 to 277. Okay, now it moves. Okay, so it's Volume 16, 258 to 277. Now, no annuals this period of time. This is roughly 19 issues. No annuals released this period of time. So, for issues 258 to 266, is simply put a 9-part story arc known as Armor Wars 2, where it basically involves the Mandarin. Yes, the Mandarin, Fing Fang Foom, that's it for a later story arc. And here's the thing. The writing in this book is taken over from the previous issue. Now, who did the previous issue before this arc started off? Like, here's the thing. Previously, I think it was Denny O'Neil who came back with the book. No, it was Randall Fritz. He did the previous issue. Basically, with issue number 258, we have John Byrne take over the writing. You're thinking, what? John Byrne? Yes, John Byrne takes over the writer of these issues, and he stays on even after the story wraps up. This is an in-name only sequel. It has nothing to do with the sequel itself. My guess is they probably call it Armor Wars 2 for marketing purposes. Yeah, that's probably the reason why. Now, if you're really curious, how long does Mr. Byrne stay on this book for? Okay, he is on this book for just this story arc. And you're thinking, really? Yes, really. I don't know the reason for this. Where he just stays in this book just for these set of issues published in this trade here. And that is it. Now, he does do also in number 10, which I've kind of discussed this in already in our previous Iron Man book, so I'm not really worried about talking about it here. Yes, A number 10. Actually, no, I didn't talk about it yet. Yeah, I'm surprised I wasn't collecting it. I didn't get a chance. Actually, wait, I did review A number 10. It was in volume 15 with annuals 10 and 11, with number 11 as well. Yes. So basically, this whole set of issues is like the entirety of John Byrne's run for the book. And you might be asking, okay, who takes over the writing of this book right after Mr. Byrne leaves the book? Well, that's a good question. The answer is Len Kametsky. Yep, Len Kametsky takes over the writing duties of this book. Excuse me. Yeah. Yes, he does. Now, if you're really curious, though, I'm talking more about Len Kametsky when I talk about basically the last mini issue discussed when it comes to the first volume for the series. But Len Kametsky, I heard recently about him, is that he actually just went to the hospital recently. And I think one of the artists was basically he was suffering some health issues right now. Mm-hmm. And he's the one who made Rhodey War Machine. Len Kametsky left with issue 318. Yep, he came on with 278 and left with 318. So he was on here for a pretty good period of time. Mm-hmm. Yes. And of course, I have discussed this. I believe I've discussed his 2 annuals already. Let me check and see about that. Yeah, I've already discussed his 2 annuals he did for the book. Yeah, he did 2 annuals, 12 and 13. It was actually 11 and 12, but yeah. Basically, I have a small 7 still, but yeah, but he starts with He came on in March 1992 as the writer, and then he left. His final issue was in July of 1995. So he was only a pretty good period of time. As a matter of fact, his run was actually the run that was the first. As a matter of fact, issue 290. 296 was the issue that. Oh yeah, he also ended 14 as well. Was that collected in the book? Yes, it was. So when I get a chance to talk about those issues, I'll be done with his run, and the first volume, of course. Yes. But yeah, as we did for that. Now, Armor Wars. Now, this story arc is really good, and who is the artist for this story arc? Okay, it's Jarmia Jr. But yeah, he actually gets a little help in these issues. Yep. He is in fact the artist for these issues. Now, I do not know the reason why Jarmia Jr. is here for, but he is. Now, apparently, the reason why he's here because he actually had come back after a stint over at DC for a while. Yeah, he basically did miniseries for Batman, did his work for Superman, and he turned to Marvel, like, not long after he wrapped this time with Superman. And he did this run here, and then he left. Now, if you're curious, how many issues Jarmia Jr. drew of this book, per se? Well, he actually was a co-artist for a lot of the issues, but this run here, this is the last time he did this book. Yep. It's a pretty good story. I do like the story. It's just really fun. It just the only thing I don't like about it is his artwork. Yes, I think he does Iron Man fine. It just some of the backgrounds don't look as well. It looks okay. It's not as bad as some of his other stuff he does, but then pretty much right after he leaves, we have Paul Ryan take over the artwork for this book. Yep. Yeah. And he, of course, was an artist who worked on Fantastic Four. Yeah. This guy's a really good artist. Now, if you're curious, how long has he seen Iron Man for? He pretty much left not long after this run wrapped up. His first issue he did with the book was actually 202. He skipped, when he came book regularly, which was 267. It seems like he skipped one issue 74. He's pretty much here until 279. He does come back to the book for volume 3 for 2 issues and like 1 annual, and like that's it. That's literally all the guy did. Yeah. So he takes over with 267. Yeah, and mostly we just do the aftermath of basically Armor Wars 2 while building up basically the next saga, which is basically a Dragon Sea saga. Then we have basically 268, which is basically a flashback to Iron Man's history. That's mostly what 268 is. 269 is... Now, one thing interesting about Iron Man this period of time, he had this thing where he had like a circuitry thing under his chest. Yeah, he had this for a while. Yeah, it was something to do with his nervous system. That was mostly what it is. He also got a villain called Overlord, who's here for a little while. John Byrne created him. And he pretty much gets killed off pretty much when the run wraps up. He does return for a .1. Yeah, and also a Black Widow mega guest appearance in this run. Yep. And then pretty much with 270, we kind of start off the Dragon Seed saga, which involves Fin Fang Foom. And this is an excellent story arc. I do recommend check it out. It started at 270, and I think it, even though that 272 is the start of this thing, you can definitely say that, well, they built this arc for quite a while. It only lasts just for a few issues. Yeah, 4 issues starts at 272, wraps up at 275. And mostly reveals a little backstory related to Fin Fang Foom, the Dragon Lords of Kuruka, who are only here just for these issues. And they think, okay, so after that really amazing saga, What happens next? Well, we have a team up with the Black Widow for issue 76, who last appeared in the book here for 270. And as for John Byrne's last issue for the book, it basically takes on some missiles. It's like, okay, we do the war games that would basically tell the trade here. And that's literally it for John Byrne's run. I gotta say, these are really excellent issues. I think John Byrne did a great job with this book, and it's something, though, that he was the third to last writer for the book. And you're thinking, really? Yeah, really. Because he is not the writer when the book basically concludes. Nope, it's Terry Kavanaugh. Terry Kavanaugh took over with issue 319. I think he was the last writer for this book. You have to work on Moon Knight and Iron Man for a while. He basically is on this book for the remainder of this run, sadly. He was saying the book into its last issue, 332. Yeah. And this is strange, though, that basically when John Byrne leaves and there's he leaves 277, and there's only 2 writers left for the remaining issues of the run before it gets relaunched. And if you're curious, how long before basically when he leaves 277, how many more issues does the last work hits the restart button? Excuse me, let's see. 30 is 307, 40 is 317, 50 is 327. I think it was 55 issues, so basically about 5 years it managed to last for before the book got ultimately launched. And this is strange, though, that some writers do stay on for a certain period of time, but at least John Byrne didn't skip issues. No, he did not. John Byrne did not skip any issues of his run. He was there from 258 to 277, and which is collecting his trade here. He had taken over the book as the writer of this book from the late Dwayne McDuffie. Yep, and I don't think he was in the book very long either. No. He was only in the book for 2 issues. Yeah. Yeah, they had a bunch of writers in this book, but you gotta at least appreciate that the artwork got better for this book. I mean, despite the fact the early 90s have got the interpretation of basically really an era of really bad artwork. That's Gwen Hara. There's some books, now I would say mostly it's from the Image side that maybe he's critical of, and some of the X stuff, but Iron Man did not have bad artwork. It had good storytelling. Lynn Kametsky was really good. He's not big of a known creator per se, but I love the man's work. And can you believe the guy only worked on 2 books at Marvel? Yeah, the only book he worked on was Marvel Comic Presents. And yeah, he was in the book for quite a while. He started with issue 49, and then jumped over 54, and then was there from that point forward. Then he left with 59, did 63, did 98, 113, 137, to 155, and then went to 169 and 170. And that was it. Yeah, he only did 25 issues for that book. Well, Iron Man, he did 41 issues. Plus, of course, 5 annuals. Did that go to the end of 15? So I see it also end of 15 as well. Let's see. So basically, I now found an annual I gotta cover. Annual 15. Yeah, I'll cover that. Don't worry about that. But yeah, that's pretty much it for particular review. I'm gonna be streaming soon, so I may or may not be able to do Eden Zero Tape, but it depends. Okay, next video. Bye.